Hey everybody, my name is Mitchell Pearson here at Pragmatic Works. If you like what you see in this video or any of our other videos, please reach out to us. We do on-demand training, we have live training events that we do, virtual mentoring, all of those are things that we do on a regular basis. So if you like what you see here, please reach out. In this video, I want to take a look at on-demand or really serverless SQL. How do we do on-demand queries inside of Azure Synapse Analytics? That's what we're going to be taking a look at here in this video. There's a lot of really great applications for this because if you wanted to do big data processing prior to having serverless compute, you would have to leave an Apache Spark pool running all the time, like maybe we do in Databricks, or if you were using dedicated compute, you might have to go out there and spin up a dedicated pool and leave that running all the time. And that might have quite a bit of compute associated with it just for these little ad hoc queries that are being run. But with serverless compute inside of Azure Synapse Analytics, what we get is we get charged $5 per terabyte of data that's processed. I'll talk about in a later video how do we measure that cost and how do we see the actual cost of it, because that's actually pretty easy to do. But we get charged $5 per terabyte of data that's processed. That is extremely cheap, especially compared to leaving a dedicated database with dedicated compute running all the time. I'm going to show you in this video about 3 different ways to leverage this. This is by no means a full deep dive into all the different capabilities here. But the first and the most obvious right out of the gate is, hey, we have data that's in our Azure Synapse Analytics workspace, and we want to connect to that data and we just want to query it very quickly. See what's in that data, just kind of explore it, right? And so what I can do here is, you'll notice if I go to manage real quick, I do not, whoops, let me go back over there. If I go to manage and I go back down to my SQL pools right here, you'll notice that my dedicated pool is not running, right? It's currently paused. So the dedicated pool is not running. So I'm not going to be using dedicated compute that's charging me for every minute that it's running, right? Instead, we're going to be using this serverless compute right here. So what I can do is I'm going to go over to the data hub, and from the data hub, I will click on linked to go over to my data lake. And if I go into my data lake, what I can do is I can just query any file that I have in this folder, right? So if I go into training here, and then I go into, let's say, training data. In fact, let's take it a step further. If I go into taxi data here, you'll notice inside of my taxi data folder, I have a lot of files. So this is pretty cool. What I'm going to do is just grab one of these files, doesn't matter which one, and leveraging the integration of Azure Synapse Analytics with these other technologies here. For example, the data lake being integrated with my SQL, integrated with notebooks, integrated with the ETL aspect here with data flows. I'm just going to go and say new SQL script, select the top 100 rows. Now here's the thing with this query. Right now, what I'm doing is out of all those files that are in that one directory, I'm only querying or I'm only returning the information about a single file, right? Let's come back to that because I'm going to show you how to get all the files in that directory and how to kind of traverse that directory. The first thing I want to do is run this script. So you want to make sure that you're connected to your serverless compute, right? We're not using dedicated, we're using serverless, $5 per terabyte of data processed. And I'm going to be pointing to my master database. Now, you can create a serverless database. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. That's another level of taking advantage of SQL On-Demand. Now, when I'm done, I'll run this. I could do also Shift Enter on your computer. I think you can get away with F5. I don't like to do that, right? F5 also is a refresh for web browsers, so I usually stick with Shift Enter here, and we should have results, and here we go. Now, keep in mind that all of these results here are only the results for that very specific file. In fact, to take this a step further, just so you can see, let's go up to the top. If I were to do something like count star, this is basically SQL, so we can modify it at this point. If I were to do something like count star here and Shift Enter and run that again, we're going to see that we get 353, what is that, 3.5 million rows. 3.5 million rows. What I'm going to do instead, though, is say, look, instead of just querying that one individual file, I'm going to replace that with a wildcard character. So I'm going to just do a little star right there, just like that, and that's going to grab everything that's in that directory. Now, if this had been a subdirectory, or if there were subdirectories here and I wanted to get all of the directories, what I would say is, okay, within taxi data, maybe we have the taxi data broken up by month. So we have a monthly partition, and I want to grab all of the different folders and all of the files. Then I would do star for all the folders, and then I would do another star at the end to grab all the files. So I've seen people kind of run into this a little bit. We don't have that folder structure, so I'm not worried about it. There are some demos that I do in my training where we use notebooks to partition out the data, to create partitions, to show how to save money on cost, improve performance. But this isn't one of those. This is just a real quick example here of how to query this data. So we would do that right there. All right. Now, if I run this again, it's going to now query all of the data that's in that folder. It's clearly much more than 3.5 million. It looks like it is closer to 102 million. So now we're getting all of the files. So that's just a really quick way of saying, look, I'm a data analyst, data engineer, data scientist. I have this data lake, and I have a couple customers I work with who have these data lakes that's their enterprise, kind of almost like their lake house that has all the data in there. It's curated. And so as a developer or as an analyst, I go in there. I need to kind of understand what's in those different files because I don't know all the data. So this gives you a really quick way of just being able to query the data, see what's in it before you go and start building your ETL or building your Power BI reports or building your ML model, right? So this is pretty cool right here. Now, I told you there are other ways we can leverage this. So this right here is the taxi data. I almost want to go back to that original file. So I'm only connecting to one file here. And I'm going to tell it right here, let's just do select top 100 star again, right? So I'm just going to get the top 100 rows and we're going to get all the columns in that row. And I'm going to copy out this code. Now, I've shown you one way to leverage SQL On-Demand. The next way I'm going to show you is how can we actually take advantage of serverless compute, SQL On-Demand, inside of a copy activity or inside of a data flow activity. So instead of connecting directly to the data lake file, we can actually connect to serverless, Azure Synapse Analytics. We can connect to Azure Synapse Analytics as our data set, and we can write some kind of SQL query that gets the data that we want. And so we can do some of that data cleansing actually through the process of serverless on demand. Now, why would you do that instead of just connecting directly to the data lake? It really depends on your use case from a business perspective, right? And I've had customers that do both. Customers that connect directly to the files in the data lake that they want, they move the data. Customers that use SQL queries through SQL On Demand. So let me show you this example. I'm going to copy out this script real quick. We're going to go back over to the top and let me see if I've already created a data set. I probably have, but I'll just create a new one anyway, just so you see the process. Now, first of all, if you want to do this, you do have to have a database on your serverless SQL On Demand. And so if I go, let me show you how to create it. It literally takes about 10 seconds here. If I go back to my workspaces, you can see that I have three databases. I have a Spark database, I have a serverless database, and then I have a dedicated SQL pool database. Now, I can't access this dedicated SQL pool because my dedicated compute is currently turned off. It's disabled. But the serverless I can because we know it's always available. So how do you create your own serverless database if you want to do what I'm about to do? Or you want to create external tables to make your querying easier, maybe to create aggregate tables or take advantage of stuff like create external table as. What you can do is come up to the very top right here. By the way, if you're watching this video and I throw out something, you're like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'd love to see a video on that. Put a message in the comments below. Let us know. We're always searching for new topics to put in YouTube videos, so let us know. If I come up here to the top though and I click right here, I can create new SQL databases. This is either going to be a dedicated SQL pool or a serverless SQL pool database. And if I click on SQL database right there, all I have to do is choose serverless, give it a name, and click OK. That doesn't cost me any money. It's not like a dedicated pool, right? It's just a metadata structure where I can store external tables. Now, if you're not sure what external tables are, we're not going to get into that in this video, but it is a really cool, really awesome feature that helps us to really take advantage of querying and accessing data that's in the data lake, as well as even reading and writing data in a really efficient manner as well. So that's how you would do that. But I already have a serverless pool. So we go back over to the top here and I create a new integration data set. And then from here, what I want to do is I'm going to search for just Azure Synapse. All right, so we search for Azure Synapse Analytics. I'm going to grab this guy right here and I'm going to give it a name real quick. So this will be Azure and it's going to be a SQL pool. Right? SQL pool. It is serverless, so I'm going to make sure I put in there the name of my database here, which is serverless P1. And then I'm going to call this on demand because we're going to be using on-demand SQL. It says, what is my link service? And I'm going to choose this one right here. It's going to require me, unfortunately, this is the one that's automatically created by the Synapse workspace. So I'm going to have to put in the actual database name when I'm done, but I'll come back to that. And I'm going to put in a placeholder here. Now the thing is, when I'm using Serverless On-Demand, or we're using SQL queries here, we're not actually going to be connecting to an actual table that's on that serverless database, right? We're actually just going to be writing a query. But unfortunately, it requires us to put in a table, even if it's a table we never use, even if it's a table that doesn't exist, even if it's a placeholder. So to make this very clear, I'm actually just going to go ahead and call this placeholder here. So we'll go with placeholder. So we know it's not a real table, doesn't exist. I'm going to say none for the schema because it doesn't exist. And then down here at the bottom, we'll click OK. Now, after the fact, because this is a parameterized data set, what I need to do here is I need to give the database a name. And my database name is Serverless P1, I think. Let's go back and check. Oh, does not have. All right. That's why we checked. Serverless P1. Okay. And so now my data set is done. So how do we use this, Mitchell? How do we use this in a control flow? How do we use this in a data flow? Well, what we do is, or control flow pipeline, of course. Those of you who come from an SSIS background, you caught what I just did there. I'm going to go ahead and create a new pipeline, right? So I'm inside of, this is fundamentally basic stuff here. I'm going to create a new pipeline, and I'm going to, let's just bring in a copy activity. All right, now I'm not going to walk through this whole demo. I'm just going to show you how we can connect and run a SQL on-demand query. So in this copy activity here, what I want to do is go down and start setting up and configuring the source. And I'm going to connect to the data set that we just created called Serverless On-Demand. Now I could use the table if I actually had an external table that I had attached to this database. Once again, that's probably another YouTube video I need to do where I talk about external tables and create external table as and why you would do that and some of the cool functionality behind it, but we're not doing that. What we're going to be doing instead is clicking on that query button right there. And this is where you can put that exact same SQL query that we were running a moment ago. We were running it a moment ago inside of the SQL script. We can put it right here, and this is going to return whatever that SQL query is. So we are now leveraging Serverless On-Demand to query the data in our data lake as part of our pipeline. Now, you got to look at this and be careful with this because I'm now going to still get charged for the data integration units within my pipeline, so that cost still exists. And I'm going to get charged for, obviously, the Serverless On-Demand. Does this give you a lot of flexibility? Of course. You can write a SQL query to clean up and transform your data, aggregate it, filter stuff out, and you can really simplify it. In fact, by using Serverless On-Demand here, I can do a lot of the same transformations I might have done in a data flow, and so now I skip the entire data flow process. So it just depends on what you want to do. But I found this example. There's a customer that I've been working with quite a bit, and they are using exclusively this for a couple of different reasons that fit their business model. And I found it to be very interesting the way they do it. Now you can do the exact same thing I just did in data flows. So take what I did, do the same thing in data flows. When you run it, it'll bring that data in, and it works great. The last thing I want to show you here is one more method. So we took a look at SQL scripts directly. We took a look at how to do it in a pipeline. The third way is how do we connect using serverless SQL on-demand from Power BI. That's pretty cool as well. So the way I might do that is I could go over to Manage. And the first thing I want to do is from the Manage Hub, I'm going to go to my SQL pools and I'm going to click on Built-in. All right. And when I click on Built-in, I'm going to come over to the right. And this is where I can get the SQL endpoint. This allows me to connect directly to my SQL On-Demand from Management Studio, connect directly to it from Power BI, connect to it from other applications outside of the Synapse workspace. So let me copy that out right there. Obviously, if you want to connect to your dedicated pool, it's a slightly different endpoint for that. So I'm going to copy that out. And then I've already opened up Power BI. So let me pull Power BI over right here. And I just want to show you how we can connect. Now, here's the deal. I don't think, actually, you know what? I think I do. So if I go over here and look, I just want to make sure I actually have a table because I'm not sure I do have a table here. I do. Cool. So I actually have an external table that we can use. So you get to actually see me connecting to the data. So I'm going to come up here and do get data. Now, the data source that we are connecting to, the data store that we are connecting to is going to be called Synapse. So if I come down here, it's right here, Azure Synapse Analytics. Now this is the same data store that I connect to from whether I'm doing this from dedicated pool or serverless pool. I'll connect to the same one for both. So I'm going to go ahead and select that right there. And then it's going to say, hey, what is your server name? I'm going to drop that in right there. Remember, we just copied that from the Azure portal. For the database name, I'm going to type in Serverless P1, just like we did a moment ago. Oh, we'll get there eventually. There it is, Serverless P1. And then I can import or I can do direct query. Obviously, the benefit here is if I have a lot of data there and I'm using direct query, you're taking advantage of being able to query big data with Serverless On-Demand, SQL pool that's on demand. So you don't have to leave a dedicated pool running all the time. I'm going to just do import here and then click OK. And then the next thing that we'll see on the next screen is it says, hey, you need to authenticate. Well, I'm going to do Microsoft account. Go ahead and sign in. So this is like an organizational account using Azure Active Directory, right? So let me do that. It's probably going to ask me for my password. And then multi-factor authentication. Let's see there. Boom. There we go. All right. And so I should be connected now. Click connect. And same exact process once again for connecting to your dedicated pool. And there we go. Now I'm connecting to an external table. And let's see here what's going on. Is not accessible because the content of the directory cannot be listed. I may have actually gone in here and deleted the underlying data to that external pool, that external table. So after the workshop I actually deleted a lot of it. I think that's what's going on here. It's the content of the directory cannot be listed. So I think I went in and I was deleting a bunch of data and I deleted it. But anyway, that's what I was going to say about external tables is that these external tables they're not like a physical table in SQL Server or Azure SQL Database. This external table is just a metadata structure on top of the files in your data lake. So it just gives you a really easy way to query or a really easy way to access the data in your data lake without having to write what we saw in SQL On-Demand earlier. And so that's going to be a separate video. The more I talk about this in this YouTube video, I'm thinking that I need to do that video where I talk about external tables and the why behind that because that is going to be pretty important. So if I flip back over real quick to here, you'll notice that I can now just query this external table by saying select top 100 rows. Whereas, and it just says select top 100 from that table name. Whereas with the SQL script, we had to use open row set, which is a little bit cumbersome and requires a little bit more work, right? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. What I wanted to talk about in this video was SQL On-Demand, how to use it in a couple of different applications. This is by no means a full extension of how you use it. And if you go over and just keep a lookout for the videos, I'm probably gonna drop one next week following this one immediately on how to kind of go look at the cost and the pricing of using serverless and how you're being billed and how you can put controls in place to make sure you don't get billed too much. That's a good video. And then I want to follow that up with one more at least where I'll talk about external tables because those are critically important as well. Thank you for watching and enjoy.